Hello, my little yarn loving friends, and good morning. It is 7:30 in the morning, and today is Wednesday. And on Monday, I decided to join the Things We're Making Thursday collab, which is a collaboration between a bunch of content creators on YouTube, knitting and crochet, where a free pattern is chosen at the first of a month, and then you have all month to work on it and share your progress on Thursdays. And you're tagged in everyone's video so everyone can see what everyone's making. I thought it'd be fun, so I thought I would join. And my original plan was to start next month for August, because tomorrow is the last Thursday of July, right? But then I'm like, I think I'm going to try to make this month's project in 3 days. So here we are. It's 7:30 in the morning, trying to record some footage so I can tell you about it. So the month of July is a bucket hat. It's a Raffia bucket hat. I can't think of the designer's name, but I'll link it down below, as well as the other channels participating, so you can go check out their videos. And I'm hoping by the end of this video, because this video is going to be a little bit of vlog style, that you can see my finished hat in all of its glory. I'm hoping. We shall see. But I'm going to show you what I'm doing. The yarn I'm using is yarn that was gifted to me, and these are leftovers from someone else's project, but I really love the feel of this yarn, and so I want to try it. And this is Wool in the Gang, and this is their shiny happy cotton base. Love the name. And let me just say, from using this in 2 days, I've determined that I want a whole pullover in this stuff to wear around the house, because friends, this is like butter. It is 100% cotton butter. Like, amazing yarn. Oh my god, it's so soft. It's so soft and squishy. So the colors that I have. Now, unfortunately, when I was gifted this stuff, I was gifted the yarn and then the labels. But from what I can tell, what I'm using is, this is the Eagle Gray, and it's more of like a blue gray to me. It's very blue gray. It's almost like a navy, but it's supposedly gray. And I'm also using, this is attached to my project, so I'm using this green, and I think this is called Spearmint Green, I think. And then I have Pink Lemonade. I'm guessing that's Pink Lemonade. And then I have Purple Haze. So Purple Haze is this color. This is all I have left from what I'm making. And then I have Duck Egg Blue, which is this one. This probably is not even going to get put in this, but it's really pretty. So I'm going to show you the color. And then I have a yellow that I don't know the color name. I'll look it up and put it here. The project, like I said, is a bucket hat. And I don't have any raffia, so I'm not going to go try to order some raffia and make a bucket hat in like 2 days. It's not going to happen. So I thought I would use this. But I didn't want to mess with making a gauge swatch, mainly because it's been crazy. My father-in-law's been in the emergency room and then the hospital. So I'm kind of using 2 patterns and combining them into one pattern. So I'm using the recommended pattern for the month. And then I'm using this pattern that I'm going to put right here, because I cannot even tell you the name of it or the designer right now, because it is so early and I'm on my first cup of coffee. And I'm kind of putting those together. The original pattern has this bump out of a ledge of stitches that goes around the top after your increases, and then at the bottom before you start your flare out, I think, if I remember correctly. And so to mimic that, I brought in a different color than the second pattern has, because the second pattern only uses, I think, 3 or 4 colors, and I'm actually going to use 5. I'm using this minty green for that bump out. This is the flat part of the hat. And then I'm making my granny squares. So the center of my granny squares is the unknown yellow. And then I'm using that lavender haze. And then I'm using this pink to go around that. So on the second hat, it has this panel of granny squares that are going to be connected together. And so they're going to be lined up along here, basically. And then I'll do like a couple layers in pink. And the reason I'm having to kind of wing this is because these two are full balls. But I'm not wanting to use the whole thing pink. I want the hat mainly to be blue with like pink as its main contrast color, mint yellow and duck egg, or mint yellow and purple haze as its other contrast colors or secondary colors. And I'm afraid I'm going to run out of yarn of the blue gray, eagle gray. So I'm going to try to increase the pink size to make a bigger panel maybe in the pink. I don't know. And I can't order this, but obviously I'm not going to get it in time to finish the hat. We'll have to see. But it may come down that I just don't finish the hat and I order another one of these and then finish the hat and then show it next Thursday when I talk about the new month's project. So that's what I got going on as far as all of that. And I'm using a 5mm H clover hook. The reason I'm using this hook is because number 1, it's soft, and number 2, I don't have to worry about it breaking in my bag because I've been back and forth to the hospital with my father-in-law. And I've just been carrying around my basket of yarn like this, and people are looking at me, but I don't even care. Don't even care. I've managed to complete all of my little motifs. So there's 6 of these things. However, you can see I have not woven in any of my ends yet. Now, this is going to be part of the project where I decide what do I qualify as being completed. When I get these put on the hat and I get the brim made, is it going to be completed then? Or do I have to get all these ends sewn in before I can say it's done? I don't know. We're not having that debate right now. We're just on a time crunch to get this thing completed and the video up by the end of the business day tomorrow, which is hopefully around 5 or 6. But I'm going to be honest, it may be like later. I don't know. It just depends on what's going on. Although I thought it would be fun to add a coffee meter and all this, because this is how it's going to get done. So I'm going to go ahead and put one up right now. Okay, let's be honest. This is coffee number 3. Let's just go ahead and add those, and we'll see how many cups of coffee it takes to get done with this hat. Going to do joining as we go to put our little screening motifs in a line to make a panel, and then that panel is going to be crocheted onto our circle. So to do that, you start in one of your corners and you only do half a corner, and then you continue across. You do a whole corner, you do a whole corner, and we are going to continue. This is how I tension my yarn. I wrap it around my finger, and then like these 3 fingers. I am a self-taught crocheter, so do not come at me if I am not doing this how you were taught. I also have metal plates and pins in both arms, so the way I can hold my wrists is kind of limited as it is. But this works for me. And I am not a very technical crocheter as I am a knitter or as proficient in a split yarn. Okay. So now this corner, we're only going to make half a corner.
So for this one, we're going to do 3 double crochets, and we are going to stop. Now we are going to chain 1, and we are going to put this like this. So what we're doing is we've come around here, and now we're going to join it to this square and then work back and forth and then go around to the next one that we're going to add on. So to do that, we are going to basically be doing a standing double crochet to this square, and it's kind of fidgety. I just use my fingers to hold it in place, and there we go. We're going to pull out our loop a little bit and move this so we can see what we have going on. So we started here, we've gone across, done half a corner, a full corner, a full corner, half a corner, chain 1, standing double crochet to square number 2, and then we've completed half of this corner by adding 2 more double crochet, and then we've pulled our loop off our hook. Now we're going to start working on this one and go back and forth. But to do that, we need to pull the yarn through the loops, and we're just going to pull it through like this. And now we are ready to do our back and forth and really join these together. So we are now ready for our next one. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to be doing a standing double crochet into this next space for this new square. We're going to complete this cluster. This is my first time doing this, so we're kind of learning as we go. We're going to chain 1, pull off our hook, and okay, so there are some new developments to my hat. Number 1, I followed this other pattern that I'm using for this part exactly, and so I'm supposed to be able to just seam these 2 together and then make my brim. This, by the way, is Thursday, and it is 8:53 in the morning, so yeah, I'm a little behind. The problem is some of these stitches are really hard to get to when you're trying to line these up. So what I'm doing is going around and slip stitching and making sure that each section has 16 stitches, because I'm supposed to have a total of 96 stitches on this, and I do. I counted. That came out correctly. This kind of has the right amount, but they're just kind of hidden. So this is just going to make the process when I join them easier. Once I get done going around with my slip stitches, I don't want to complete the whole sequence on the last one. So I was supposed to have 16 stitches in between each granny, and I only did 15 on this one, and then I'm going to pull my yarn through. And the reason is because I like to do the invisible join. So I'm going into this last stitch backwards, and I'm pulling this tail through it, and then I'm going to pull it through this stitch right here. Oh, you see right here where it came out of. I'm going to get my hook in, and I'm going to go backwards into it, and I'm going to get that tail and pull it through, and then that actually creates that 16th stitch right there. And I'm going to go back and mark the first one so I know where it is. And then my 16th stitch is completed, but you don't have as much of a visible join. So now I get to put the top to the top. Now, 1:30 in the afternoon, I'm just now getting to work on this because life stuff. But I want to show you what I'm doing. I am actually attaching the side panel to the top, and I'm doing that by whip stitching. And to be honest, I know at some point in my knitting and crochet have whip stitch. I just can't think of it, mainly because I try to avoid sewing and seaming at all costs. But this is how I'm doing this one. I'm actually going through where I did those slip stitches on the pink, and I'm using a strand of pink yarn, and I'm just going through one loop on the hat. I have the top of the hat and the sides inside out, so all these little whip stitches are going to show up mainly on the inside, and then on the exterior you will see this, which it doesn't match completely, but it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. It's probably going to drive me crazy, to be honest with you, but I'm just going to try to let it go and not think about it. So it is now 2:12. I finally got this thing sewn together. Like, I don't hate how this turned out, but it's different than this, so I don't love it at all. Oh, I was holding the video sideways. Sorry about that. But as you can see, I still have all these ends. So the likelihood of all the ends getting woven in by the end of the day to get this video up, it's probably not going to happen. But now I need to really focus on getting this brim. Luckily, I have a short head. I don't even know. So, like, this actually was all on gauge, but I just have a short head. So I guess that just means I don't have that much brim to crochet after all. And I probably could have did this around my squares in the navy. And I kind of hate that I didn't. But we're not turning back, friends. We're moving on. Also, for Thursday, and things that I'm making on Thursday, we are having one of our favorite dinners, and that is some baked chicken with some red potatoes, fresh rosemary from my herb garden, some lemons, and it has some yellow onion, and it would have cauliflower, but I forgot to grab some this week. But it's still going to be delicious, and I have to get to chopping it. See how close the turkeys come to my house? Like, he's just a-chillin'. Ready for the oven. Now back to the crochet. Let the record show that it is 8:37 p.m. and the hat is done except for weaving in the ends. There's my last little snip right there. I really like it, but I will record some in the morning and talk about the final product. I really wanted to get this video done last night, but it was late and it's been such a stressful week. I was just ready for bed. My father-in-law actually got to come home from the hospital yesterday around 4, so that's exciting. And yeah, like TGIF completely. But I wanted to give my final look on my hat and thoughts. So this wound up using 71.3 yards of this pink, 156 yards of the gray blue, and then the yellow I used 93 yards. It took 9 cups of coffee and a total of 256 yards. But I really like it. However, it is a little big here. Like, I like the length of it. And it is cotton, so it will grow. But I think I could wash and dry it to kind of tighten it up a little bit. But I do have curly hair, so it kind of works. It kind of works. I did make it as long as I wanted it. I went past both lengths on both hats, I think, because I wanted it to like be able to come out.
And when I got to the brim, I went all the way down to a 4.5 hook, which is in between a G and a H. And that way to make this stiffer so I can kind of make it stand out more. And the reason so is because I actually need this hat for when I'm working outside and I'm outside to keep the sun off my face. So it will definitely get used, even though it feels just a little bit big around the head portion. I definitely could have done the whole hat in the 4.5 and then just did the brim and the 4. So if I ever redo something like this, I'm probably going to do that if I use around the same weight cotton. This is a worsted Aran weight cotton. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but it is. I do love how it turned out. So I know this is not completely the things we're making a Thursday hat, but I kind of used it for a basis of the design and just used the other pattern for this part. However, either one of them, since I'm making it for me, I always kind of veer off from the pattern anyways. And when I determine how big to make it, when I make my flat circle, I have a chart that I use that I've always used. And for an adult hat, it needs to be your flat circle for the top of your hat around, I think, 6.5 to 7.5 inches, give or take. This one I did right to 7 inches across the flat circle, and then I did 3 rows going down in the gray before I added on this pink panel. I made the pink panel separately, and to attach, like I said, I just turned the hat inside out and attached the panel to the top, and then just started crocheting around with the gray again. I did increase 3 more rows in between all these rows from what I was increasing here to get it to have the flare out and still match the increases as the top. And that is my things we're making a Thursday hat. So I was able to, if I got this video up yesterday, tell you about the things we're making pattern for the month of August. It's from Yarn Inspirations, and it uses Brunette Super Value Big Stripes yarn. I think that's a discontinued yarn. I'm not sure. But it also calls for 1,008 yards. That is a number 4 acrylic. So any kind of yarn can be substituted here, but 1,000 yards of a worsted weight acrylic for a shawl seems super heavy to me, and I'm not feeling it. So if I make it, it's not going to be that. It's going to utilize maybe that motif of the feather and fan, but it's not going to be 1,000 yards of worsted weight yarn for a shawl. I love shawls. If you followed this channel for a while, you know I love making shawls. That's like way too much for me. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with that. So I hope you come back next Thursday to see what I've decided to do and my progress on it.